land acknowledgement really quickly. The University of Central Florida is located on the traditional lands of the Ais, Appalachee, Calusa, Timucua, and Tocobogo tribes, as well as the Seminole tribe of Florida and the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida. Roll call and verification of quorum. Chair Gaudio.
Luke Paul.
Present.
Anna Reed.
Present.
Olivia Smith.
Present.
Angelia Wajis. Gabriel Casimiro.
Present.
Christopher Corelli. James Kapanos.
Present.
JC Lim.
Present.
Sahasra Sadvika. Jonah Scott.
Present.
Ni Chow.
Present.
Oh my gosh. Shivi Jain. Owen Sherman. Present. Danae Smith.
Present.
Arwa Ali.
Present.
Melva D.
Present.
Jason Hamid.
Present.
Ryan Kaufman.
Present.
Nicholas Lucht.
Present.
Jordan Metellus.
Present.
Kai Prohl.
Present.
Peter Rorcasa.
Present.
Samuel Rose.
Present.
Grace Rudy.
Present.
Daisy Terreo Hernandez.
Present.
Terry Fawcett.
Present.
Mohammed Kidvai. Nathan Rickett.
Present.
Right here. Kushi Chauhan.
Present.
Bobby Escobar. Ibrahim Nassim. Rose Rodriguez. Katrina Wanjan.
Present.
Ella Weiderberg.
Present.
Okay. Corson Green.
Present.
Diana Nguyen.
Present.
Anthony Bonaventure.
Present.
Veronica Perez.
Present.
Halima Al-Quda.
Present.
El Benesh.
Here.
Jocelyn Candelaro.
Present.
Kirsten Courts. Victoria Jones.
Present.
Angelique Leon. Abby Matthews.
Present.
Isabella McRae.
Present.
Ruthie Nershamadevra. Cameron Renda.
Present.
Alex Rosenblum. Mariah Simmons.
Present.
Mila Tudorescu.
Present.
Juan Varela.
Present.
Julia Ziven.
Present.
Jordan Lipner.
Present.
45 out of 56.
All right, 45 out of 56, quorum is verified. Approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve last meeting's minutes? All right, approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve this meeting's agenda? Okay, open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? Okay, seeing none. Announced from the student body president, President Blanco.
Good evening, Senate. This week, Jarib and I met with the business services and dining services team, which was a great meeting. So thank you to them. We went over to the Creative School for Children, which if you don't know, it's located right next to the RWC in the Libra Garage. And it's basically a preschool and childcare system for our student parents and faculty parents. So, we're happy to support them in any way. And then as well, we met with Dr. Guzman yesterday and had a great conversation with her. So thank you for her time. Additionally, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Posey on her incredible career here at UCF spanning 25 years of service. Dreeb and I attended her retirement ceremony this week, and we will miss her greatly at the Activity and Service Fee Office, which she was the director of. Lastly, Dreeb and I also had the privilege of attending the UCF Remember ceremony for the Pulse tragedy. So it was a really well put on event. So if you were there, thank you so much for attending. So, today I concluded my very first Board of Trustee meeting or meetings. So, these are just a couple highlights that I think you guys would be interested in. Everything will be posted on the Board of Trustees website, but if you have any specific questions, you can feel free to let me know. So most importantly, we elected chair and vice chair. So congratulations to Chair Martins and Vice Chair Christie. We passed a resolution honoring Provost Michael D. Johnson in his incredible career here at UCF. We voted to pass the 2025-2026 preliminary operating budget and spending authority. As you guys may or may not know, it's preliminary because we don't have any of the final allocations from the Florida Senate. So once that's finalized, we'll be able to relook at that at the trustee meeting in September. As well as the UCF football stadium name change. So congratulations to our incredible advancement team on this incredible opportunity. It's now the Acrisure Bounce House. So it's FBC Mortgage was absorbed by Acrisure. So it's not a completely new deal. It's just a formality in the contract. We have a new food service over at our athletic village. We'll be providing food and concessions by Levy, which is also the same company that does the Kia Center. So they're big in the Orlando community and they're going to do great stuff. We approved 2 new degree programs. So there's now going to be a doctorate in social work as well as a master's in nutrition and dietetics. So super excited for that. We have conferred all of the degrees for summer graduation. We approved the Creative School project coming in the coming months for the Creative School for Children. And then we also took a look at the facilities 5-year capital improvement plan led by John Varnell, who's our VP of Facilities and Operations. And what's really exciting is that John Varnell is actually going to be going before the Board of Governors at FAU next week and presenting a similar presentation because his work with facilities and, space utilization is seriously cutting edge and some of the best in the SUS system. So I'm very excited for that. Next, I have a couple of appointments. So first off, I'd like to appoint Bella Camarado for the Agency and Department Strategic Planning Board and Sarah Collison for the Graphic Design Coordinator. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Are there any questions? Seeing none. Okay, thank you. Announcements from the student body vice president, Vice President Benitez.
Well, hi, Senate. This week I had the opportunity to meet alongside Lucy with business and dining services, as well as admin from the creative school, like she previously mentioned. We just discussed our initiatives with business services and dining services, and it just explored ways to collaborate within dining services, but also with the creative school. We also attended the UCF Remembrance, honoring the lives that we lost 9 years ago today at the Pulse tragedy. A big shout out to the LGBTQ+ services for organizing such a meaningful event. And lastly, I've scheduled our first ASBE meeting, which will be Monday at 1:30 on Teams. So please feel free, reach out to me if you have any questions about that. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good weekend.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Comptroller's report, Comptroller Drinkwater.
Good evening, Senate. Just a quick update for tonight. I was able to sit on the FAO meeting this week, which was super helpful just to listen in and get a better feel for the kinds of requests coming through. I also had a really productive meeting with Shane. We talked about how we can better collaborate across branches to make things smoother and more efficient for everyone. Right now, I'm focused on a lot of budget planning for the executive branch to ensure every dollar is being used intentionally and in preparation for finalizing internal budgets. I'm still working on an infographic that we can provide to international students regarding the forms they must fill out before going through the CRT process or after they receive funding. A huge shout out to the CRT, FAO, and ORS committees. I've noticed the work each and every one of you contributes. If anyone needs anything, has questions, or wants to set up a time to meet, I'm always happy to help. Just a heads up, I will be out of town next week until Thursday, so I may take a little longer to respond. And CRT's current balance is $706.26 with a reversion rate of 3.86%, and FAO sitting at $5,439.15 with a reversion rate of 4.48%.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Attorney General's report, AGL Tuna.
Good evening, Senators. Thank you for having me today. For this week, I've been focusing heavily on reviewing and cleaning up all of the Senate rules as my next step. That's my biggest priority right now. Main reason being so that Chair Gaudio and I can meet next week to clean up and go through all of the statutes and all the titles and all the rules. That way we can make sure that all of our governing documents are up to date, especially for the fall semester. I also have been updating the statutes, and I'm waiting on Dr. Frame's signature for Bill 5702. I have been working closely as well with Ryan Ioko from the Office of Student Conduct and Academic Integrity to work closely as well with the justices and the Chief Justice to make sure that I get the training that I need to. And I'm also putting actually together a calendar, a compliance calendar for each of the individual branches so that the judicial, cabinet, and legislative branches can all keep track of our statutory deadlines and make sure that we're all up to date and in compliance. Lastly, I'm also putting together a little bit of a briefing on Robert's rules for the speaker and the pro tem. That way this document can be handed down to all of the senators. And if there's any kind of like general info questions on Robert's rules, seconds, anything like that, you can rely on this document. So we're going to be going through that together and collaborating on that. And again, please do not hesitate to let me know if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to work together on any of this. I'm happy to collaborate. Thank you.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, Cabinet Forum, Chief of Staff report, Chief of Staff Pearson.
Good evening, Senate. I'm so excited to give my first official report. I only have a couple of things to announce. SGLC applications open Monday, June 23rd at 8:30 a.m. Please, please, please tell everyone you know to apply. We look forward to another record-breaking year in applications. Fun fact, Texas Tech will be visiting us Thursday, July 10th to meet our student government. There will be a Meet the Branch small gathering at 5 p.m. before Senate to give them an opportunity to meet us as agents. So please join us. They will also be attending Senate to watch how you and all of us operate. So just to see you guys in action. SG Welcome Week, mark your calendars, is the week of August 25th. So please mark your calendar, considering there are activities that will be happening from each branch along with collaborative branch efforts. And then just really quick, I'll add it to the minutes. I will be out of town next week. So if you do email me, it might take a little bit for me to respond, but I promise I will make sure you get a response. That's all I got.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Deputy Chief of Staff report, Deputy Chief of Staff Lally Otis.
Hi, Senate. I hope everyone's summer is going well. These first few weeks on the job, I focused on successfully onboarding all new cabinet members, as well as facilitating the Election Commission interviews to support Vice President Benitez. I also met with Chair Escobar, Speaker Courts, and Vice President Benitez to discuss the Senate appointment process for the year. So every week I'm going to be checking for new applicants with the goal of responding to each applicant within 5 business days of their application, and then scheduling interviews within 2 weeks from that initial contact. Following that, I updated and opened the application, so please tell all your peers to apply for all of the open seats. Next week, I will be meeting with student leadership from all the auxiliary campuses to begin a year filled with collaboration and success. And I just want to tell everyone that as I embark on this role, I do really want to emphasize that I'm here to support all of you and all of your SG endeavors. So please reach out if you need anything throughout the year, and I really look forward to another amazing year of student government with you all.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Okay. Governmental Affairs Coordinator report, Coordinator DeMarco.
Hello, Senate. I hope you are all having a great summer. Over the past couple of weeks, I've met with President Blanco, Vice President Benitez, and Shane to clarify the scope of my role and align on strategic goals. These conversations were productive and provided clarity on how I can support all SG leadership. I have also scheduled a multi-branch coordination meeting with key leaders from Senate, GAP, and the executive branch, and our supervisors as well. The purpose is to establish shared goals, improve collaboration, and ensure alignment as we prepare for major events and advocacy agendas. Next week, I'll be meeting with Vice President Janet Owen to establish a relationship with the administrative side and discuss state of the Capitol, as well as how we can work together to present a unified approach to the state level. Lastly, I plan to meet with Kylie Anzueto from Gray Robinson to discuss lobbying strategies and explore ways external partners can help support our policy objectives. So that's all for me. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Next. Director of Student Affairs Report, Director Berthume.
Good evening, Senate. Since stepping into this role, I've started meeting one-on-one with each member of my team to outline their individual goals and begin planning some key initiatives for the semester ahead. To ensure our division operates efficiently and stays aligned, I've started developing some new event planning and task management tools. This includes a step-by-step event planning guide, a template for day of event outlines to assist in team cohesion, and a comprehensive checklist tracker. If you're interested in checking out any of these resources, please feel free to email me and I'm more than happy to share.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, Director of Communications, Director Ayub.
Good evening, legislative besties. I'm Andi Ayub, and I'm super excited to be standing before you for my first cabinet forum of this new administration. So since being confirmed, I've been taking the time to settle into my new role as Director of Communications. So this includes reviewing the processes we have in place for submitting graphics requests, which I plan on meeting with the different branch heads, committee leaders, and communications liaisons shortly to see how they feel about the system I'm putting together. But before I do that, I just want to review this process structure with the Division of Communications and Outreach, just to make sure that we are all on the same page and confident that we're set up for success. As President Blanco shared today, she and Vice President Benitez have appointed a new graphic design coordinator. So I'm very excited about the prospect of having a full division should they be confirmed. A few updates on my end. Our Instagram hit 30,000 followers this week. So woo! Super excited. Thank you to everyone who, reshares our stories and posts and shares our platform in general. And thank you to those involved with orientation for sharing our Instagram to incoming students. That's a big part of how we got to 30K, which is super exciting. Keep a lookout, everyone. So early next week, I'll be posting a short video. It's going to go live on our Instagram, and it features Senator Kortz, Reed, Rose, Sherman, and Lucht. They did such a great job giving students an overview on the FAO and CRT funding applications. So I'm super, super excited to see how that's perceived by our student body and what that looks like. So that's all that I have for you all today. If you have any questions for me or need anything at all, feel free to reach out.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Academic Affairs Coordinator Report, Coordinator Vacaria.
Good evening, Senators. I hope your week is going great. Just wanted to say thank you for confirming me as your Academic Affairs Coordinator for this year. Given that this week has been primarily dedicated to scheduling introductory meetings with the Assistant Director of the Knights Major Exploration and Transition Center and the Textbook Affordability Librarian. I'm also going to be meeting with the project coordinator at UCF's Pegasus Innovation Lab next week and continue to see how I can contact TEDx to get a hold of an event license. Nonetheless, that is all I have for you today. I look forward to having a great year with y'all.
All right, any questions? Oh, Senator Benesh. They're typing out what they want to say. Okay, the question is, are you planning to do a collaboration at the TEDx stage at Rosen campus?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. So as of right now, the venue of the TEDx event is still to be determined. So given that, I'm more than happy to be open to different ideas on where to host the event. So feel free to reach out and I'm sure we can kind of discuss the details of that.
All right, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Announcements from the Interim Chief Justice, Pizarro.
Good evening, Senate. Since last week's confirmations, the majority of associate justices are now fiscally and ethically trained. The branch is also gearing up to kickstart training for student conduct and academic integrity, as well as parking appeals. Our first parking appeals hearing is scheduled for this upcoming week. And lastly, I have been communicating with Amy Swimford and Mark Gumbel for the ANS committee from the Faculty Senate about upcoming hearings.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. All right. Announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Caucus reports, none. Announcements from the Senate President Courts. Okay. Hi, Senate. Sorry I'm not present for today's confirmations, but wish me luck with the 2 exams that I have right now. Please make sure that you are being intentional and respectful and do not give pro tempore when we don't have time. Thank you. We met with Dining Services this week and we had a lot of insight and budding ideas for the coming semester. We will not be having Senate next Thursday because it's Juneteenth. Please do not come here for Senate next week. Also, there's a link to her office hours. And I hereby appoint Kai Prohl to the ASB Senator at Large position. Congrats to Senator Prohl and good luck with confirmations, everybody. So I'm not Senate President Courts, but is there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Internal Legislative Assistant Report, Assistant Rudy.
Hi, Senate. This week I've been working on laying out plans for SLC because that's completely in my jurisdiction and I don't want to get anything finalized until we have our judicial representatives all nailed down. But I will be, and once they are, I will be contacting to start planning for the fall and recruitment for SGLC. Chief of Staff Pearson has communicated that the SGLC applications will be opening soon. So please spread the word if you know anyone interested. And pending confirmations, tonight I'll be reaching out to the Judicial Branch and Election Commission to let them know I'm their point of contact if they have any questions for us or if they need any help with anything from the legislative branch.
Are there any questions? Seeing none? Hey, External Legislative Assistant Report, ELA Reed.
Hi, everyone. So last Friday, I met with a Director of Communications, Ayub, Chair Varela, Vice Chair Candeloro, Senate President Courts, and Pro Temp Hamid to discuss the GAP newsletter. The GAP committee settled on the design that I linked in the minutes. If you all want to take a look at that, please don't edit. I realized I gave you all unrestricted access to edit that. I also met with the DSER to start discussing ideas for the Senate retreat. So that's all from me.
Any questions for the ELA? Seeing none. Okay. Senate President Pro Tempore report. That's me. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a great week. I have a long report. Apologies. So Senate President Courts is not here tonight, so please be patient with me. I've never done this before. This week, I sent out non-compliances for senators who have not set up an orientation with me. I will be sending out non-compliances over the weekend for those who have not completed their ethics training, which was due today. For all the vice chairs of committees, please send in your committee minutes. I believe the timeline's 5 business days. Also, since there's no Senate next week, a lot of committees aren't meeting. Please announce this at least 24 to 48 hours in advance, but the sooner the better, please. Senate President Courts and I have met with the AGL Tuna this week to talk about more ways that we can collaborate. Also, my office hours are officially open for more than just orientations. I know I sent a link out, I think last week, so feel free to use that if you want to come by and chat. We're also seeing 4 confirmations tonight. So please make sure your questions and debate are relevant and respectful. I'm also going to be limiting to 3 questions per person. Please ask for multiple questions if you have them like in your head already before you ask your first question. And also if you already know you're going to ask a follow-up, please ask that ahead of time too. And also I want to acknowledge that today is the anniversary of the Pulse tragedy. It's an event that hits home for us people in Orlando. So I have a space for that in Senate Forum to have a moment of silence after we see our business today. Also, due to LGR confirming my, I guess, penal actions for my non-compliances, the following senators are in non-compliance for their financial or for their fiscal training. Chris Corelli. So are there any questions for me? Seeing none. Deputy Pro Tempore Legislative Affairs Report, D. Lake Kaufman.
All right, hello everyone. I finalized the fiscal and legislation trackers and they will be added to the Senate channel as soon as possible for you all to view. I also wrote the first fiscal bill of the sessions. That's very exciting for CRT, which will be remanded tonight. And I met with Chair Sherman about potential statute changes from the business office. Today's legislation will be seeing one fiscal bill on first reading, one internal bill on third reading, and one resolution and one proclamation pending its adoption in committee on second reading.
Are there any questions for the DLEG? Seeing none, Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations, Deezer Capinos.
Good afternoon, Senate. I hope everyone is doing well. So I looked at all the responses for the Senate forums, and it looks like our first in-person event is going to be an office movie night. So that's gonna be really exciting. I have a popcorn machine, and I also have this box that can pirate almost any movie. So I'll be able to bring those in for the office, and then I'll look at the events and see in the forums and see which days are best for everyone. And then also, I'm still working on the RSO list. Because of some timeline issues, I won't be able to finalize that until into July, but I'll be working on getting those grouped and sent out to you as soon as possible. And then we are also looking at doing an arts and crafts event during the summer and doing some sort of online event. So please keep your eyes open for any types of information that's going to come out through the teams in the coming weeks.
All right, are there any questions for the Deezer? Senator Green?
Yes. For legal reasons, you are joking about pirating films, correct? Wink.
Yes, it's a box that has legal rights to a bunch of like films from a array of different movie theaters.
I love the word legal. Okay, that's great. Any other questions? Seeing none. Okay, old business, none. Fiscal committee caucus time, none. Fiscal committee reports. CRT committee, Chair Sherman.
Good evening, everyone. This week in CRT, we approved allocations 5701 through 5709. Also this week, I met with Fong from the business office to discuss some of our policies for the upcoming year. We also discussed a few of the suggestions that he had for us.
Are there any questions for the CRT chair? Seeing none, FAO committee, Chair Lucht.
Hello, everyone. Today in committee, we saw our first two allocations of the session, and we denied 5701.
Sorry, you cut out. You could restart.
Oh, is it not working?
You're back.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today in committee, we saw our first two allocations of this, the session. We denied 5701, and we approved 5702.
Any questions for the FAO chair? Seeing none, ORS committee, Chair Rose.
Hi, guys. So today in committee, we saw 4 VPFs. We approved 2 of them and postponed the other 2.
Are there any questions for the ORS chair? Seeing none, all right. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, bills, fiscal bill 5701, funding for 35 members of Team Sport Business Management to attend the Davos Sport Business Management Industry Trip in New York City, New York from September 14th, 2025 to September 19th, 2025. DLEG Kaufman, I hereby remand to CRT. Notice of legislation on third reading, none. Notice of legislation on second reading, none. Internal committee caucus time, SBA, I hereby recess this meeting at 6:33 p.m. to reconvene at 6:43 p.m. And if you are not in SBA, please join the breakout room. If you are in SBA, stay here in the normal meeting.
call this meeting to order at 6:35 p.m. Roll call and verification of quorum. Present. Vice Chair Nurseman Damer is excused. Senator Ollie.
Present.
Senator Alfuda.
Present.
Senator Chow.
Present.
Senator Fawcett.
Present.
Senator Leon.
Present.
Senator Perez.
Present.
Senator Renda.
Present.
Senator D. Smith.
Present.
Senator O. Smith.
Present.
Senator Weiderberg.
Present.
Oh, sorry. LJ Arvin.
Present.
Pro Tem Rep. Present. It's 13 out of 12, but how about oh. So it's 13 out of 12. Okay, all right. 13 out of 12, quorum is verified. Approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve last meeting's minutes?
So moved.
Approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve this meeting's agenda?
So moved.
All right, is there a motion to move to proclamations?
So moved.
Okay, I yield the chair to Pro Tem Mead.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt Proclamation 5703? Yeah.
So moved.
Okay. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Okay. We have adopted Proclamation 5703 in committee. Okay. Is there a motion for speech, questioning, debate? Wait. Is there a motion for 3-minute speech time, 3-minute questioning, 3-minute debate? I'd say someone's cool. Okay. So Chair to the rescue, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, good evening. This resolution recognizes Juneteenth as a significant holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States, highlighting its historical roots dating back to June 19th, 1865, when the last enslaved African Americans were freed in Galveston, Texas. It acknowledges the continued importance of Juneteenth in honoring the resilience of African Americans and promoting equity and justice. The resolution also notes the demographic representation of Black African Americans nationally in Florida and at UCF, as well as UCF's first Juneteenth celebration in 2020, led by the Black Student Union. All in all, this resolution asks the University of Central Florida to officially recognize Juneteenth on June 19th, 2025. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. We're now in a period of questions. Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, is there a motion to move to debate?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Seeing that we're now in a period of debate, is there any debate on this proclamation? Senator Metellus? Oh, is there a motion to let a non-senator speak? That being Senator Metellus.
So moved.
You have the floor.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank the chair for writing this proclamation. Obviously, Juneteenth is very, very important. And many of you know that Black Caucus last session worked very hard on trying to make Juneteenth a UCF holiday. So I'm glad that this proclamation is back this year. And I also like to say that I added some RSOs in the be it referred to resolve section for this proclamation to be sent to so that this can reach as much people as possible. And I encourage you guys to vote in favor of this proclamation. Thank you.
Does anyone want to pick up Senator Metellus's amendments so we can see them now? Oh. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Brody. Okay. Is there any more debate on this piece of legislation then? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. Brody has a poll. If you're not an SBA, do not vote. But if you are an SBA, you should vote. Okay, with a vote count of 11 to 0 to 1, this proclamation passes first reading. Yay! Is there a motion? Oh wait, I now yield the chair back to Chair Rescue.
Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn pending final call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, roll call same as initial. I hereby adjourn this meeting at 6:41 p.m.
How long did that take? Oh, it took 5 minutes. Brody, I just realized. So, like, how do I vote? So, like, I can't vote in the polls because. So, like, how do I vote to like not vote? I know, but I thought that I still had to like technically vote. Will I get like an absence from LJR? Oh, you know what? I'll ask Chair Gaudio.
Well, so yes. There's not anything that, so we're not gonna have it.
Okay,
Like, you're gonna assume you would stand alone.
because that's what I would have done actually.
Can't vote at this point.
Really? Okay, thank you, Brody. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Don't work that thing through, figure out X on. Say, yeah. Anyways. Not real. Yes. Not real.
Is everyone who's like in person back, or is there anyone like still out there? When, I thought it was 43. Oh, yes. Oh, it was 43. I shouldn't doubt myself. Okay, I hereby reconvene this meeting at 6:45 PM. Internal committee reports, ENA Committee Chair Escobar. Is Vice Chair Chow here? Which I don't-
Yes, I am here. Okay, so sorry. Hello? Oh my gosh. Hold up. So sorry, my internet was being evil really quick. So good evening, Senate. Right now I am speaking for Chair Escobar because he's at a conference, but this week the committee saw 4 confirmations. We did see Chief Justice Bella Pizzera confirmed a 9-0. Election Commission seat number 4, Andrew Colazo Borges confirmed 10-0. Election Commission seat number 6, Cameron Najim, I do apologize if I butchered that, rejected 5-0. And then Election Commission seat number 8, Marcia Orellana confirmed 10-0.
Are there any questions for ENA? Seeing none, GAP Committee Chair Varela.
Hello, Senate. So today GAP decided on what the GAP weekly newsletter will look like, as well as content in it. And we went over some of the basic Florida civics. That's important for us to know for when Get the Capital Prep comes. The newsletter and its fixed presentation are pasted below, so please take a look at that. And also one big thank you to ELA Reed, because she designed the newsletter, and many others are sort of prototypes for us to cite on. They're all fantastic. Thank you so much. She's great at her job. That's what I should remember.
All right, are there any questions for GAP? Seeing none, LGR Committee Chair Gaudio.
Good evening. Last week, LJR saw 8 absences, 2 blanket excuses, Resolution 5701, and reviewed 2 penal actions for non-compliance. The highlights are Resolution 5701 passed 8-0-1, and both non-compliance penal actions were approved 7-0-2. I've also listed out all of the absences and the blanket excuses. I will send out emails probably tomorrow. In other news, there's been a little confusion on where you can keep track of your accrued absences. Some people have been asking me about that. If you want to look at which meetings you've accrued absences from specifically, you can find it under the Senate files under your Senate attendance. You have up to 10 academic days, which is about 2 actual weeks to request an excusal. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on that. If you see any discrepancies, please bring them up to me. I do make mistakes. In addition, please submit your absences ahead of time. It makes my job much easier, especially if you've accrued one single unexcused absence. A final note, since Senate is not meeting next week, LGR will also not be meeting next week. Instead, I'll be sitting down with the Attorney General, as he mentioned in his report, to comb through statutes, make sure everything up to date, all past legislation is properly accounted for. That's all for me tonight. Keep up the hustle, and may the pro tempore's laptop charger cable rest in peace.
Is there any questions for the LGR Chair? Seeing none, I respect the hustle. My laptop charger is doing better now. Okay, SBA Committee Chair Tedorescu.
Good evening, Senate. This week in committee, we discussed and made progress on initiatives from all committee members. We're beginning to send out emails and meet with proper people to discuss the ideas. Proclamation 5701 was adopted in committee and seen on first reading, and it passed 11-0-1.
Any question for SBA? Seeing none, confirmations. Is there a motion for a 5-10-10? Okay. So first we have Bella Pizzera for Chief Justice. And you'll have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Thank you for that. Good evening, Senate, and thank you all for having me. My name is Bella Pizzera. I'm a proud first-generation Lithuanian student from Boca Raton, Florida, currently entering my 3rd year at the University of Central Florida. I'm majoring in International and Global Studies with a minor in Intelligence and National Security, and I'm honored to appear before you today as the appointee for Chief Justice. Over the past 2 years, I've had the privilege of serving within student government, beginning with my freshman involvement in SGLC and JLC. Last June, I was confirmed as Associate Justice seat number 11, and just a month later, I was appointed Internal Assistant Chief Justice, a role I fulfilled with deep dedication until a few weeks ago when I was entrusted with the role of Interim Chief Justice. Throughout this journey, the judicial branch and student government have shaped not only my professional development, but my personal growth as well. They have instilled in me a sense of purpose, sharpened my resilience, and helped me uncover a true calling: advocacy. I never expected to find such a transformative space on campus, but this branch has given me a community, a mission, and lifelong mentors, individuals like former Chief Justice Rivera, who helped ignite a passion for leadership and integrity that continues to guide me today. To be considered for this position is more than an honor, it is the realization of a dream, and I would be humbled to lead this exceptional body of justices in the year ahead. If confirmed, I intend to prioritize internal structure and operational clarity as the Chief Administrative Officer. My primary goal is to enhance efficiency and transparency through well-defined systems. One initiative includes the creation of a comprehensive student conduct and academic integrity, otherwise known as SCI, case tracker to ensure consistent oversight and reduce confusion during times of high caseloads, which we recently experienced with only 6 sitting justices. This tracker will promote visibility and streamline case assignments between the justices and judicial leadership. In addition, I plan to reform the parking services and Night Connect processes, ensuring that all relevant case materials and evidence are accessible to justices well in advance of scheduled hearings. Internally, I will collaborate with the Assistant Chief Justices, the IRC Chair, and our Student Government Advisor to develop a dedicated training manual for new justices and maintain a running yearbook of judicial rules of procedures amendments for institutional memory. Perhaps my most ambitious internal proposal is the establishment of compensation for the 5 committee chairs beginning in the next fiscal year. These justices consistently exceed volunteer expectations and contribute immeasurably to the advancement of their committees. I have already initiated conversations with Comptroller Drinkwater and our Student Government Advisor, and will work closely with the Assistant Chief Justices to prepare a strong case for this initiative during the ANSF budget hearings. Externally, I aim to expand our outreach efforts with housing conduct and undergraduate admissions to better inform students about judicial branch's service arms. Another initiative close to my heart is the development of a student government-wide retreat. Envisioned for the start of the fall semester, this retreat would unite all 3 branches in a space focused on education, collaboration, and mutual understanding. It would serve as both a community-building effort and an opportunity for cross-branch dialogue, allowing student leaders to learn one another's day-to-day responsibilities and foster inter-branch collaboration. I've begun discussions with Speaker Quartz and our Student Government Advisor, Bodie Taylor, both of whom have responded with strong enthusiasm and support. In closing, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for your time and consideration. The judicial branch has been the cornerstone of my college experience, and it would be my greatest privilege to give back to it through service as Chief Justice. If confirmed, I pledge to lead with transparency, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the responsibilities entrusted to this office. Thank you, and I yield the remainder of my time for questioning.
All right, we are now in a period of questioning. Are there any questions for the candidate? Chair Varela?
For your Sky case tracker, given how protected a lot of the information is, I forget the name back now, but you know what it is. Do you have to take any special measures to make sure that's like very protected information when you make this tracker?
Yes, thank you for your question. So we are protected by FERPA and the students are protected by FERPA. And so the case tracker would not, it would be insured by the Chief Justice because I'm the only one that has access to all of that incoming information that would be protected by FERPA. So I would assign justices a specific number that would only be known by the Chief Justice that they would put into that tracker. And besides that, the only thing that they would track is the dates that they reached out to the student, the dates that the student reached back out to them, as well as how long the process itself took for future training, as well as to make sure that all of the justices are currently on the right track.
Are there any other questions? Chair Gaudio?
Is there any concern that in the future with the retention of this data, that there might be any possibility that this data could, through some means, be go where it shouldn't because it's supposed to be kept confidential, non-public, that there's a worry that it might be retained improperly at some point in the future and be shown to eyes that it should not be shown to?
I would say no. I would definitely have everything in my power to ensure that that would not happen. The current initiative that I have is that I would assign the justice a specific case that they would obviously have access to. But besides that, I would let them know starting July 1st of the date that the case was filed to the judicial branch, and that's the number that they would keep using, as well as if there's multiple dates for that same day, they would track it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But besides that, none of that information would be available to anyone outside of our FERPA laws.
Senator Rickett,
Mr. Speaker, two questions, if I may.
you may.
The first question is, if one of your justices were to be found to be sharing confidential information or to be found to have a certain bias in a certain situation, what measures would you take in order to rectify it?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So definitely I would first bring that justice into my office and have a one-on-one conversation, see what happened, see their side of the story, but then obviously repercussions would be discussed, as well as we are following our code of conduct within the JRP, so I would adhere to that, as well as if there is some confusion, I would definitely go to our student body advisor as well as our SCI office to see what are the punitive sanctions that we might have to place on that individual.
Follow on, Mr. Speaker.
You may.
Can you name all the articles of the UCF Constitution?
Of course, so there is 6, the first one being the student body, the second, the legislative branch, then we have the third, the executive branch, the fourth, the judicial branch, then we have our senior student affairs officer, which is currently Dr. Adrienne Frame, and the last one being the amending process.
I saw Isla, Rudy, and then I'll go to Chair Varela.
When it comes to the compensation of the committee chairs that you mentioned, I know that the ANSF budget is expected to be pretty level coming up from the next year. So where do you anticipate the funds will be coming from for those chairs, if you know at this time?
Yes, so that's definitely, again, to be decided by the NSF Budget Committee, but the initiative itself is to at least start the advocacy for that and at least have those conversations going. I already conducted a meeting with Comptroller Drinkwater, and that would be an increase of about $13,000 for our OPS budget, seeing that I would be advocating for 5 hours for each chair every single week for about 32 weeks. So yes, that would be a sizable increase to our budget, but I'd say that at least to start that advocacy going, because I do believe that these individuals should be compensated.
This is a question related to what Chair Gotti asked you a little bit ago about the case tracker. For this case tracker, so once a case is resolved and done, are you going to delete the information from the case tracker, or is the information going to stay there pre-programmed?
So yes, the current initiative that I have is that the case, the information would stay. Again, just to clarify, the only case number that they would have is that the case number itself would be assigned as the date that the student filed that case with us. So on our Night Connect, so that would be the date that they would put in, and then the number that, let's say, it would be the first case coming in that day, the second, the third, and then the only information that they'd be putting in is the date that the student reached out to them or that they reached out to the student and when they had their hearings. But besides that, the information would stay for that singular year, and the initiative is to, after that year, delete that information.
Chair Gaudio?
You mentioned that the numbers would be based upon the dates. I was curious as to why you chose that method over, say, perhaps randomized numbers, because you are the one distributing these numbers to the justices. So would it not be better to use a more randomized or protective system to keep, I suppose, other people from brute forcing in and finding, even if the information is limited, still information?
Yeah, of course. So the dates being the numbers is definitely something on the Chief Justice's end to keep track of that. Besides the justices, no one has access to those cases because that is in our Night Connect. So I'm not that worried that people would be able to ensure that information, as well as SCI does have their cases very much protected. But yes, those dates would be specifically for the Chief Justice to be able to track them.
Any other questions? Metellus?
Move to debate.
It's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in a period of debate. Is there any debate for the candidate? Metellus?
May I retain?
You may not, just in case.
Well, I'll be voting in favor of this candidate. They have shown a lot of dedication and initiative for both the judicial branch and in their previous roles, as well as this role, seeing that they were chosen as the interim Chief Justice and have already started contributing in that role. I really resonate with a lot of their initiatives and believe that they have a lot of drive for this role and will work to complete each and every one of them. And I encourage you guys all to vote in favor.
Is there any other debate? Isla, Rudy?
May I retain?
You may.
This candidate shows exciting and innovative initiatives that I'm really excited to see out of the judicial branch. And I believe that they're very qualified for the position and showing that their previous experience in student government. I'll be voting in favor, and I encourage you all to do the same. Move to vote.
We're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 34 to 0 to 1, this candidate passes, is now confirmed as the Chief Justice.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Now Andrew Collazo Borges for Election Commission seat 4. And then you'll have 5
Am I good
minutes.
to? Okay. Sorry, Jason.
You have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God. I didn't hear you. Okay. Hi everyone. Hi Senate. It's good to see everyone. Congratulations to all the Senate leadership that has been elected, especially those that I've served with this past session. I'm immensely proud of each and every single one of you. But for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Andrew Collazo Borges. And I am the former Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs for the 56th session. But before that, I was the Vice Chair of LJR and ENA. And then when I was transitioning between my vice chairmanship and to deputy, I was the acting chair of ENA because the ENA chair had resigned. So I was kind of like, handling that at the same time. But before that, I was an associate justice for roughly about a year. And then before that, I was in SGLC. So that's a little bit about my, student government journey. As to why, I applied to be into the election commission, I believe with my extensive knowledge and my experiences, I believe is the correct position to be in for myself, especially since as a previous justice, I know how to be impartial and neutral, when especially when it comes to election violations. In my time as ENA leadership, I had an amazing working relationship with the election commission, especially with their leadership team. Supervisor Brown, working with him and making sure that we are updating our election statutes. So I played a really big role in that. So if you take a look at the election statutes, you'll see, contestment of elections. That was me. That's something new, especially when it comes to, the standards of what makes a contestment. So I'm really excited to be a part of the commission, especially since, this past session, I voted in favor of the commission having an ERP, and being a former justice and having experience with the JRP and being in their internal rules committee. I'm really excited to contribute that. And, as a former senator, again, with that experience, can definitely, advise the next supervisor, when voting in ENA when it comes to the election statutes. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I yield the remainder of my time to questions.
All right. Are there any questions for the candidate? Metellus?
To debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Is there any debate? Audio?
I said this little spiel in E&A, but I'm going to say it to this floor as well. I love this guy. He is phenomenal. His statutory knowledge is unlike, it is incredible. It is up there. Bringing that to the election commission is something that the commission can really use, especially when those violation hearings start coming in and they have to start pouring through Title VI. He's going to be on top of that, bringing that diversity of opinion. And his organization, I was the LJR vice chair that took over after he was appointed DLEG. And so all of the kind of paperwork organization that he set up, I inherited, and it was phenomenal. I didn't have to reorganize anything. And so just bringing that to the commission, helping out whoever the supervisor may end up being elected, please vote in favor of this guy.
Senator Matthews, and then I'll go to Senator Benesh.
So similar to Chair Gaudio, I also gave this spiel in ENA, but last session I had the pleasure of Mr. Clausen being my mentor in SLC, and just really him being my mentor, I was able to see all the knowledge he had of the inner workings of student government and just all the statutes. So I will be voting in favor, and I urge all of you to as well.
Me next?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm in the car, but I too will be voting in favor of Mr. Collazo. Y'all already know I was the ENA vice chair last session, and I find that his knowledge is extremely valuable, especially when it comes to elections, statutes, stuff like that. So I encourage y'all to do this, to vote in favor as well. And with that, move to vote.
Really quickly, before we move to vote, are there any negation? Seeing none, there's been a motion to vote. We're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 38 to 2 to 1, Andrew Collazo Borges has been confirmed for EC seat number 4.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, moving on. Next we have Marcia Orlena for Election Commission seat number 8. And you will have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. And of course, thank you all for taking the time to listen. My name is Marcia Orellana, but I go by Mar. I'm a biomedical science major, currently going into my 3rd year. I'm also pursuing 2 minors in astronomy and psychology. Outside the classroom, I'm involved in leadership, community service, and research, both on and off campus. After graduating, I do plan to attend medical school and become a physician, where I could continue to advocate for fairness, ethics, and care on a much greater scale. But today, I'm here because I want to serve in a different way, which is through student government. I am from Venezuela, a country where elections don't reflect the will of the people, and fairness is not guaranteed. Growing up there, I didn't see elections the way people do here. I didn't grow up seeing people excited about election day or hopeful that their vote might actually change something. There wasn't the sense that a new leader could be chosen or that people had the power to hold those in charge accountable. It was more like everyone knew the outcome before it even happened. So when I came to the United States and I saw how seriously people take elections and how much people believe in fairness, in change, and in their voices being heard, it meant everything to me. So it was definitely a cultural shock that I had to go through, but also a moment of realization. I realized that I wanted to be part of something that represents the opposite of what I saw growing up. So when I found out about what student government was and what their values are, I knew it was my calling. I do believe my background and life experience can bring a powerful perspective to improving the voting process itself. Having someone who comes from a different view of what voting should be and who has always stood for what's right, what's fair, and what's transparent. That's the kind of voice I want to bring to student government. To me, this role, it's about making sure every voice counts and every vote is protected. It's about fairness, transparency, and accountability. But more than that, it's also something personal. It's about proving to myself that even though I come from a place where those values weren't real, I would always stand on the side of what's right. Being part of a system where fairness, teamwork, and confidence are at the center will mean everything to me. It's a way to live the values I carried, values shaped by my past, my culture, and my future goals. If confirmed as an election commissioner, I hope to accomplish three key things. One, to protect fairness and impartiality. Two, to increase voter turnout across all UCF campuses, including the Rosen, Downtown, Lake Nona, and even UCF Online, by making the voting process more visible, more accessible, and more student-friendly. And three, to educate and empower. To me, being part of the election commission isn't just about enforcing rules, it's about contributing to something I truly care about. I do want to bring a thoughtful and honest perspective to the team, shaped by my experience and my belief in fairness. My goal is to help create a process where every student feels like their voice matters and where elections reflect the values we all believe in. Thank you for your time, and I'm open to any questions.
All right. We're now in a period of questioning. Are there any questions for the candidate? Senator Rickett?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two questions, if I may.
You may.
Right. In your statement for the candidate, you mentioned that you want everyone's voices to be heard, not only on main campus, but across our satellite campus as well. Now, I represent a lot of the grad students, and a lot of them feel like their voices aren't being heard. Can you get into specifics on what you will be willing to do in order to alleviate that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Each campus it's different. So honestly, I would love to work with student leaders and student organizations on those specific campuses, to help us promote elections directly in those spaces, like through flyers, info tables, or class visits, with the help of student organizations in those respective campuses.
Follow on, Mr. Speaker.
You may.
My next question is, if you were in a situation where you found that your superior, that your boss, if they were violating the code of ethics, what would you do in that situation if you found out that the head of the election commission was violating the code of ethics?
Yeah, that's a good question. As an election commissioner, I think like my main duty is to believe in like all fairness and like being transparent about everything. So as an election commissioner in my position, I would, submit the complaint within the deadline. I would also collect evidence and hold maybe a hearing to give the accused a fair chance to respond. I do feel like after considering like everything that happened, including facts and evidence gathered, we will make a decision and apply the appropriate sanctions if the violation is confirmed.
Rickett, did you have another question? Okay. Any other questions for the candidate, Gaudio?
Yeah, just a quick statutory question. How many signatures must a presidential ticket acquire on a petition form in order to become a candidate?
You said how many signatures?
Yes, how many signatures must be on the petition for a presidential ticket to become a candidate?
That's a good question. I don't think I have the right answer at the moment, but I'm always more than happy to look into it and follow up and make sure I'm well educated in that aspect because I know it's important to know about it.
Any other questions? Also, Brody, someone in the chat said that the audio from the chamber is really quiet. Okay. try and be louder. Is there any other questions? Oh, we can hear the candidates, but not our fellow senators. Okay. Do we sound better now? Senator Rickett?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the candidate, you mentioned in your statement that you originally came from Venezuela, where there is a state of despotism and anarchy. If we find that, in the spring election, there is a state of anarchy where everything's thrown into chaos and there's a lot of confusion and even violence, what steps would you take with your fellow commissioners in order to solve that problem?
Yeah, we of course we need to remain calm and follow the code of ethics first of all. And then we will come to a decision of what's gonna be best to approach in that situation. And honestly, if necessary, approaching the emergency plan, if it's appropriate to like delay or postpone the election period because of what's happening in the moment, then I think it will be a great motion to continue with.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we're now in a period of debate. Is there any debate for the candidate? Gaudio?
So, I would like to kind of hear some other opinions once again, but so during ENA, I also asked some statutory questions, but they were far more complex. So I gave some leeway to the candidate. But coming into this meeting now, the day after, and the question of how many signatures are required for a ticket, that's a fairly low level question. And to not know the answer to that for an aspiring election commissioner, that kind of that rubs me the wrong way. And so I would like to hear more from the others, but
Chair Varela?
Yeah, I'll be voting in favor of this candidate. Mainly because I just think that they seem like a hardworking, diligent person that would do well with the role. And I understand the concern about not having the statutory knowledge, but in my 3 years being in and around student government, the election commissioner, especially for a brand new election commissioner seat, has always been a pretty introductory role into student government. So you really don't need any prior knowledge. There's trainings that are done by the more experienced election commissioners to get you up to speed, right? I don't think that, she's never going to know the statute, right? She just said that she would go and learn right after this meeting. So I think that it's not quite fair to dock her on like not having statutory knowledge. That all comes in time with the election commission. So for that, I'll be voting in favor.
I'll go Wanchen and then Senator Rickett.
I completely echo Chair Varela. I don't think an election commissioner needs to be an expert on Title VI or even have a very strong knowledge on Title VI. They just need to be willing to work hard and learn. And I definitely think this candidate demonstrates that, so I'll be voting in favor.
Senator Rickett?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to go ahead and bounce off of all the previous senators that spoke. And in my opinion, it is very, very important for individuals going for any student government office or role to know what they're getting into, to know the basic requirements and the statutes. One of our requirements as senators is to know statutes, to know Robert's rules, and to know Senate rules. Imagine a situation where someone's coming in completely brand new, no idea what's going on, and they're throwing into a position of power and authority, and they have absolutely no clue what's going on. Now, I will say, I believe this candidate is qualified. They do have the mental capacity and skill in order to be a collection commissioner. but I would just let the candidate know you need to brush up on statutes. You need to brush up on the UCF Constitution. Uh, you need to brush up on Robert's rules. That's something that will come in time. But I believe this candidate has the potential to go ahead and move forward. If there's any other senators that disagree or agree, I would love to hear it. Thank you.
I also will say campus violence around the election is not EC's responsibility. That's UCFPD. I apologize for not saying that earlier, but I do want to make the clarification that campus violence is not the responsibility of the election commission. They're not responsible for that. I'm sorry for not saying that earlier. Is there any other debate? Gaudio?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to move to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in a period of voting. With a vote count of 38 to 2, Marcia Orlena is confirmed for election commission seat number 8.
Thank you.
And I have just received the paper from the Senate, from the student government president for the sign over. So we can see them. That being said, Blake Barnes to sign over for Senator Jane CCIE seat number 2. Senator Gaudio,
Would you please send me a copy of the form?
do I have to send it to you before they're seen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Brody. Okay. You can come up. Blake Barnes to sign over for Senator Jane CCA seat number 2. You'll have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Seven? Okay, I apologize. Better? Okay, cool. I apologize. Okay. All right. Good evening, Senate. Thank you for hearing me today. I'm here today as a sign-over for Senator Shivi Jain. I just came from a shift as an orientation leader, so bear with me. My name is Blake Barnes, and I'm a second-year public administration major with an urban and regional planning minor and also a statistics minor from Ocala, Florida. And I would love to be a part of this wonderful organization as a representative of the College of Community Innovation and Education. And I believe that I offer a unique perspective as a result of my involvement around this campus. I'm currently a National Merit Scholar, Burnett Honors Scholar, and Lead Scholar, and I hold many other memberships in organizations around campus. I'll elaborate on my experiences if you'll indulge me. I'm a brother of the Phi Mu Alpha Symphonia fraternity, and I currently hold the warden position through this organization. This is a leadership position. It's essentially the parliamentarian of the group, and through such, I have an extensive knowledge of Robert's rules, and I know how business meetings are conducted. I also enjoy reading through regulations and making suggestions on increased efficiency, and I've completely revamped PMA's own bylaws to reflect the will of SG's governing body, and I'm familiar with the expectations from RSOs by SG. I'm also employed at the university as an orientation leader currently, which means that I'm not only already a representative of UCF in an official capacity, but I also have a broad understanding of the various resources around campus and how to utilize them. As I said before, I'm majoring in public administration with an emphasis on homeless services. This translates amazingly to this position as I'm invested in learning about the intricacies and processes of the role to assist with my career goals. I was given this opportunity a little bit suddenly, but I would love to continue learning about this organization as a senator.
I have two initiatives that I would like to bring to the table if confirmed. Firstly, I would love to start consistent tabling at orientation sessions to increase our outreach to incoming students. This would cement student government in the minds of new UCF students and make it a concrete organization that they have the ability to join. I also would like to increase internship opportunities within CCIE, specifically because of my extended involvement within UCP, which is a public school chain in Orange County and surrounding counties that serves and educates individuals of all abilities and disabilities. I believe this will be a great opportunity for my fellow CCIE majors, especially education majors, to take advantage of. This marks the end of my presentation, and I look forward to any questions. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Are there any questions for the candidate? Gaudio?
Do you plan on remaining in both of the original senators' committees, those being FAO or CRT, or do you plan on shifting into different committees?
So as the Senate allows, I would like to have the opportunity to join the Legislative, Judicial, and Rules Committee, as well as the Government Affairs and Policy Committee.
Vice Chair Chow?
Thank you for your time. I was just curious about your orientation initiative. It sounds very interesting. I was curious whether or not you would also want to have tabling for UCF students in like the downtown campus for Lake Nona as well. So those campuses or inter campuses also know about this resource or student government in general.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to talk to the downtown orientation ambassadors, and all the other campus ambassadors, and cement this as a university-wide thing.
Senator Rickett?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two questions, if I may.
You may.
My first question for the candidate. In the UCF Constitution, can you speak on the amendment process?
I cannot. I'm very eager to learn. I was offered this position a week ago. So I had just learned about this opportunity, but I'm very willing to learn, and I would like to definitely read up on the Constitution.
Second question, if I may, Mr. Speaker.
You may.
Okay, so part of your requirements is to know the UCF Constitution, to obviously know Robert's rules, and to know the Senate rules. Other requirements are ethics training and financial training. When do you think you can be brought up to speed and be sort of that standard senator? Can you give us a time frame?
I believe as soon as possible. I would probably say up to 3 weeks to a month to be completely up to speed.
Any other questions? Vice Chair Trejo Hernandez?
Oh my God, you said my title. Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now up here to debate. Vice Chair Trejo Hernandez?
May I retain?
You may.
Yay, okay. I like this candidate. They've shown extensive efforts to participate within the UCF community, and as well as taking a sign over and just having a week of like, oh, you're gonna do this for like the summer. I would say like that's kind of daunting task, especially with like so much going on. Also, Jerry showed out. I'm gonna be voting in favor. Prince George is the same with that move to vote.
We're now in voting procedures. Okay, with a vote count of 38 to 2 to 1, you have been confirmed as CCIE seat number 2. So the justices have left. So could you, okay, go with the AG. Also please use the chat if you have like technical issues. I appreciate the lore drop, but that's for like after the meeting. Okay. We're done with confirmations. Guys, we're getting there. Brody, you know what? Maybe Brody was right and we could get out early. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay. Moving on. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading. Bills, Internal Bill 5701, 2025 to 2026 funding limitations for registered student organizations. Chair Rose, we'll keep the 5, 10, 10. So 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I was not here last week when you guys saw this on second reading, but I kind of got the rundown from Kaufman. Yeah, so you guys reduced it a bit more down to 2.8%. I think that's an acceptable level still. We did have funding issues at the end of last fiscal year, so I think lowering it a bit just it'll help like when we get to that spot again this year. And combined with all the other policies we've implemented, I think this will help a lot. Not much has changed. Like, I mean, there's nothing really much to say, so I'll yield the rest of the time.
All right. Are there any questions to Chair Rose? Metellus and then Gaudio? Oh, Gaudio?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in a period of debate. Any debate on this piece of legislation? Senator Green?
Yeah, so after last week, I spoke to some of my RSOs about the proposed changes because this funding cap would affect them. They were okay with it, ergo, I'm okay with it, and I'll be voting in favor.
Chair Varela?
May I retain?
You may.
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't here last week either. So I didn't know we lowered it, but I'm glad we did because that is something that I was thinking about doing myself. Because I would like to make the money that we have stretch farther. So because of that, I'll be voting in favor. Hope you all do too. And with that, move the vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 42 to 0 to 1, Internal Bill 5701 passes third reading. Okay, notice of legislation on second reading. Resolution 5701 updates the Senate Rule Number 7, petition period for absence excusable prior to dismissal by Chair Gaudio. Chair Gaudio, 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All righty. Good evening. So this is a mild update to Senate Rule 7, which is our excuse policy. What this change essentially does is with the current reading of Senate Rule 7, when you exceed 2 unexcused absences, that's it. You are considered dismissed. You must appeal that dismissal at the next Senate meeting. The way I would like to handle things, and with my personal views, I believe that there should be at least an opportunity to appeal an unexcused absence if you go over that marker. But at the same time, we must still be fair. We must still be reasonable. Giving that full 10 academic day period can be excessive, because if that seat's going to open up, we should open it up for appointment. So what this change essentially does is it says, if you go past that 2 unexcused absences, you have until the start of the next Senate meeting, next regularly scheduled Senate meeting, to submit an absence request. If you don't, you are dismissed. If you do, then it gives LJR some time to look over your absence and perhaps bring you back under that 2 unexcused absence limits. I yield my time.
All right, we're now in a period of questioning. Are there any questions for the author, Chair Varela?
So to clarify, this is giving them more opportunity to, I guess, appeal their absence.
In a sense, yes. Without, again, it's not giving them that full 10 academic days after the absence. It's just until the next Senate meeting. Because, again, the current way it is, once you go past 2, even if it's just you go to 2.5, that's it. You have to appeal your dismissal at the next Senate meeting.
Any other questions, Vice Chair Wanjin?
Is there a reason you pushed it to the beginning of the next regularly scheduled meeting instead of just putting into writing what's generally been our practice, where if you submit an absence request by the end of the meeting where you incurred 2.5 absences, then it would be waited on?
So the primary reason that I did that was mostly so that to still kind of extend that sort of, because if it's by the end of the meeting, then the speaker does not know that that person is considered dismissed until the next meeting anyway. And so with this, when that person is considered dismissed is unchanged. It's just that little bit of leeway in how I would like to handle things with regards to that.
Deezer Kapanos?
I apologize if this is something that's already been in practice, but my question was, is there any communication that goes back and forth between the committee and the senator in question if they occurred more than 2 unexcused absences to help them understand that they need to go through this process?
Yes, absolutely. So under the Senate rules, let me pull up the exact one it is. There. When you exceed 1 excused absence, you are sent. I write to the Senate president saying these senators are in excess of 1 unexcused absence, and then the Senate president writes to those senators saying you are in excess of 1 unexcused absence. I have also been writing to the Senate president saying these people are in excess of 2. Please let them know that they're in excess of 2. So I would continue this, keep this up.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we're now in a period of debate. Starting debate on this piece of legislation. Senator Rickett?
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. I actually have one important question for Chair Gaudio.
Is there a motion to move back to questioning? Okay, you may ask your question.
Okay. There might be a follow-on. May I direct a question to Chair Gaudio?
Yes.
Chair Gaudio, it's my understanding that absences are kind of reset after every semester. Am I correct?
Correct.
So in a situation where the next scheduled Senate meeting is in the next semester, would this be a moot issue?
Yes, this would in essence, well, I suppose that under the current system, the way that it would work is if on the very last Senate meeting of the session, if you go past 2, then you would be dismissed. You would have to appeal your dismissal at the first Senate meeting of the next session, of the next semester. Sorry, not session. Whereas under this, because there's that period, but it's getting reset, you would not have to do that. You would just be able to carry on. I will also say that if senators are at 1 unexcused absence or at none, and you miss the last meeting, there is no consequence, just because it gets reset. And so if that's kind of where you're going with this, then
Mr. Speaker, one more question, if I may.
You may.
Chair Gaudio, in a situation where a sign-over has in excess of 2 absences and the semester, rolls over, would the process be different?
no, a sign over when a senator signs over, the sign over is assuming all of the duties and responsibilities of the original senator, including inheriting the absences that that senator originally attained. So it would be treated no different than if it was just the regular senator.
Are there any other questions? Chair Hernandez?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Oh, Deezer Kapanos?
I just wanted to have one quick question for clarification. So for a sign over, if someone signs over, then they're excused the absence as if they're a regular senator. If that senator came back from the sign over, would those absences still occur, or that wouldn't be the case because a different semester has started?
So again, under our current policy, a sign over is treated no different from the original senator. While the person is changing, everything else about that seat is unchanged. So the presence of a sign over does not impact the process whatsoever.
Speaking of Senator Barnes?
Present.
And voting?
And voting.
Okay, Senator Barnes present and voting at 7:41 p.m. Apologies for not doing that earlier. Vice Chair Trejo Hernandez.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in a period of debate. Is there any debate on this piece of legislation? Deezer Kapanos?
I think this legislation makes complete sense. Giving senators more of an opportunity for that process to appeal it. And I think that it just allows for better communication between Senate and Senate exec and the committees involved. So I'll be voting in favor for this legislation, and I urge everyone to do the same.
Is there anyone else wishing to debate? Seeing none, we're now in a period of voting. With a vote count of 40 to 1 to 2, this resolution passes second reading. Alrighty. Proclamations. Proclamation 5703, proclamation recognizing June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth by Chair Tedescu. Chair, you will have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, good evening again, Senate. This resolution recognizes Juneteenth as a significant holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States, highlighting its historical roots dating back to June 19th, 1865, when the last enslaved African Americans were freed in Galveston, Texas. It acknowledges the continued importance of Juneteenth in honoring the resilience of African Americans and promoting equity and justice. The resolution also notes the demographic representation of Black and African Americans nationally, in Florida, and at UCF, as well as UCF's first Juneteenth celebration in 2020, led by the Black Student Union. All in all, this resolution asks the University of Central Florida to officially recognize Juneteenth on June 19th, 2025. I yield the rest of my time.
Are there any questions to the author? Chair Metellus? Oh, sorry, Senator Metellus. Apologies.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in a period of debate. Is there any debate on this proclamation? Senator Metellus?
May I retain?
You may.
I will be voting in favor of this proclamation. Huge thanks to the SBA chair for writing this. It's very important that you recognize Juneteenth. As they said in their speech and in the proclamation, this was a very important day back in 1865, and I'm very glad that us as a Senate body are recognizing it. As many of you may know, Black Caucus worked on a Juneteenth initiative all throughout the last session to get UCF or Juneteenth recognized as a UCF holiday, and hopefully that does come to fruition one day. And then also I'd like to say that the MSC is hosting a Juneteenth event from 4 to 6 if anyone would like to attend. And with that, I'll be voting in favor of this proclamation and encourage you guys all to do the same. With that, move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. We're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 42 to 1, this proclamation passes second reading. And with that, we are done with our business for the evening. Okay, Senate Forum. So kind of want to acknowledge that today is the anniversary of the Pulse tragedy that happened here in Orlando. So I would like to have a moment of silence. All right, thank you guys. Is there anyone else for Senate Forum? Seeing none, Senate deliberations, none. Advisors report, Brody.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm here. Yep. I don't have a lot for you. You guys are doing great. You're getting through all your stuff. Great work, Jason, running the meeting tonight. Yeah, that's all I got. Let's do some center shout outs. Yeah, Daisy.
Nadavi, honorary senator, got into grad school.
Jordan.
Shout out to Speaker Hamid in this case for chairing this meeting wonderfully. He did a great job.
All right, Zach.
As always, LJR, you guys are troopers. Another long meeting. I swear the next one will be shorter, guys. And the pro tempore for the sudden onset of his charging cable, and the speaker who is going through the motions right now.
All right, Daisy.
Our new sign over senator, Senator Barnes, right? One of us.
Yeah, Mala.
Of course, shout out to SBA. SBA is great. You guys are an awesome committee. And shout out to Pro Temp Hamid for running the meeting and being great. So
Yeah, Jason.
Obligatory shout out to everyone. Thank you guys for making this meeting really smooth. I really appreciate it. I was a little worried. Also obviously shout out to the committees. You guys are doing really great. I noticed that a lot of you guys are starting to do like the work that you'll be doing throughout the year. I also noticed that a lot of new senators are participating and a lot of older senators are being really great role models. So shout out to everyone, really great work. And then shout out to Senate President Courts. This job is very overwhelming. I have so many tabs open. It's like so many things are happening all at once. And you know what? I'll text her after this being like, I appreciate you. And she deserved the day off to do her tests.
All right, Olivia.
I was just gonna say shout out to Chair Todorescu. Your guidance has been really appreciated and you're doing great things in SBA. So thank you so much.
Love it. All right. If there's no more, whatever.
So as everyone knows, I got admitted into my grad program. This has been like a month and a half, like very long journey for me, but it was like very short and very fast. And all of you, thank you so much for being part of that journey. I started applying when I got into a God position as student assistant, and I was using a lot of time from office to finish my application. This is a very big feat for me, one step closer to becoming a sports scientist. So thank you so much. It means a lot.
And we're so glad that you're a part of our chapter of our lives and our session. Ah, okay, guys, miscellaneous business. Okay, resignations. I hereby resign Samuel Joliker and Mohammed Kidwai from Senate. I hereby resign Senator Barnes from CRT, and I hereby resign Senator Barnes from FAO. Appointments. I hereby appoint Senator Barnes to the LGR committee. Okay, guys, this is my favorite part of the meeting. Oh my God. Okay, Hamid's crazy clothing ranking. Or second option, Hamid's couture categorization. Okay, the second one, I like that one a little bit more. It kind of tricked me. Who wrote these? Okay, who wrote okay, you wrote the first one. Okay, you know what? Both of you guys ate. You guys did great. Okay, okay, ranking for crazy clothing ranking. I'm gonna give it 7.5. Hamid's couture categorization, I'm gonna give it a 9. That was really good. Okay, now this is like the hardest part. Okay, gotta look at the fits. Let me see the fits, guys. Okay. Okay, I see the jazz hands. Oh. Okay. Honorable mention the Attorney General. Whenever he's not a senator, but also another honorable mention, Director Ayub. You know what? You guys both came to serve. And you guys aren't senators, so that's why I put you in honorable mention. But I do appreciate the outfits. I appreciate you guys dressing up. Okay. Third place. Oh God, this is really hard. I'm gonna give, okay, crazy take. I'm gonna give third place to Chair Gaudio. I have never complimented your button-ups, but like you always come with like a really nice, like fun pattern. And I feel like I like relate to that. Okay. Second, wait, give us a twirl if you're comfortable. That was like a really dangerous Beyblade twirl. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give second place to Chair Tedorescu. Okay, I think you're giving. I think you're serving. Give it a twirl. Okay. Okay, in first place, I'm gonna have to give it to Chair Varela because he came with the full suit. I asked him why, and he was like, I just felt like dressing up, and I thought that was a really good reason. So give us a twirl if you're comfortable. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once again, you guys came to serve and you guys came to slay, and I always appreciate that. Vice Chair Trejo Hernandez.
Motion to adjourn pending final roll call.
Okay, there's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Chair Gaudio.
So for the people online, if you don't hear me call out your name, I'm going to do like a last thing at the end, put something in the Zoom. I'll read through it. I'll make sure I mark you down. Alrighty? Cool. Let's get through it. Luke Paul.
Present.
Anna Reed.
Present.
Olivia Smith.
Present.
Angelia Warshis.
Present.
Gabriel Casimiro.
Present.
Christopher Corelli. James Kapanos.
Present.
JC Lim.
Present.
Sahasra Sadvika. Jonah Scott.
Present.
Ni Chao.
Present.
Blake Barnes.
Present.
Owen Sherman.
Present.
Danae Smith.
Present.
Arwa Ali.
Present.
Melva D.
Present.
Jason Hamid.
Present.
Ryan Kaufman.
Present.
Nicholas Lucht.
Present.
Jordan Metellus.
Present.
Kai Prohl.
Present.
Peter Rorcasa.
Present.
Samuel Rose.
Present.
Grace Rudy.
Present.
Daisy Terreo Hernandez. Terry Fawcett.
Present.
Nathan Rickett.
Present.
I am here. Kushi Chauhan.
Present.
Bobby Escobar. Ibrahim Nassim. Rose Rodriguez. Katrina Wanjan.
Present.
Ella Weiderberg.
Present.
Orson Green.
Present.
Diana Wynn.
Present.
Anthony Bonaventure.
Present.
Veronica Perez.
Present.
Halima Alcuda.
Present.
El Banesh.
Present.
Jocelyn Candeloro,
Present.
Kirsten Courts, Victoria Jones,
Present.
Angelique Leon,
Present.
Abigail Matthews,
Present.
Isabella McRae,
Present.
Berthi Nurshamadevan, Cameron Renda,
Present.
Alex Rosenblum, Mariah Simmons,
Present.
Mila Tudorescu,
Present.
Juan Varela,
Present.
Julia Zivan,
Present.
Jordan Lipner. 45 out of 54.
All right, quorum is verified, and I hereby adjourn this meeting at 7:50.